This is a very serious official video. I am going to explain to you in almost perfect detail how I got a billionaire in my DMs. The reason I think this is important is because many women have exposure to wealthy men in real life. And I want to emphasize that is very important because when a man meets a woman in real life, he instantaneously respects her more because she's more authentic. That way, impossible to confuse her with anyone else. But when it happens online, it's a bit different because the man already comes in kind of with an expectation that something is going to happen. Especially this is true in online dating, but when it's social media, for example, or Instagram, things like that, it's a bit, more like it's a friendlier environment, like, a bit loose in terms of emotion, but it still isn't on the level of real life connection. And yet, you may want to experiment what you can achieve in real life or online because both can have incredible potential. Now, at the time when this happened to me, I was very much in tune with the person who got into my DMs in terms of mindset. So we were kind of on the same level, mentally, emotionally, and I think he is a very mature person. He understands so much. Again, I'm talking about mindset, I'm talking about thinking, I'm talking about emotion. So when, um, you know, you meet someone and later on you find out why you fancied them, you may find that your mindset was super overlaid, like your mindset was overlapping with theirs in a huge grand way. So my mindset at the time was completely, I think, or mostly mainly on the level of this billionaire. Now the reason why I'm saying this is because I have always been very much attuned to the truth, very I am a disciple, but I always prioritize just staying as truthful as possible, no matter where I was, no matter who I was talking to, no matter what clothes I was wearing any given day. So that's a commitment I had made to myself in my, mid, like, teenage years. I would say like around 14, 15. And every decision I made from there on, I kept committing, like I kept the commitment to myself to that decision, which was staying truthful. And only very recently has this slightly changed because I realized the importance of self-presentation, which, obviously carries a little bit of inauthenticity with in itself, but I still, even though I spend less energy trying to prioritize truth no matter what, I still believe that self-presentation is as important, but definitely not more important than or as truth. So that's one thing, mindset. Another thing is, in terms of, how wealthy I felt at the time, I was emotionally on the level of this billionaire, I would say. Like, when you are abundant, you don't necessarily become abundant by having a lot of money. You can just feel it, like you can just simply understand wealthy people, and you do not have to have a certain amount in your bank account to prove that, because potential is worth. And especially with women, I think this is super important, because we live in a hustle culture oriented society, meaning we are taught from the day we are born that unless we put in labor, we will not get like very far in life. But the truth is that women are not small men, first of all, and women are born with eggs, and men are not born with reproductive potential. Men produce reproductive potential, so to speak, throughout their life and forever until they pass. But women are not the same. Often people say that women have two deaths, like two times that they pass. One is menopause, which by the way is a very short time. It's around a day or something. And when they, actually leave this earth. But I, I, I do agree, but I also would add that women are different in that every time they pass an egg, or release an egg, and then their month starts over, they even then experience a type of death, which to them is very special. Like, it is very intimate, and it has kind of does require physical security and emotional containment in a way. So unless a woman has that, she may feel so out of touch with her femininity, for example, that she will bleed with pain. Okay, enough of that. So emotional provision to me goes hand in hand with physical or financial provision. Why? Because again, we live in a hustle oriented society. So if someone is wealthy, actually wealthy, with a lot of money and high net worth, and we speak of them as like a high net worth individual, they will be different emotionally, and so usually this occurs more often with older people, because older people have or will have had the life experience and the education that takes maintaining that level of worth. But young people, especially women, again, are different now in this, because women tend to lose value over time due to biology. And I'm not alone in saying this. In fact, the billionaire who slid into my DMs at the time tends to say, I think, if I remember correctly, that women lose value over time with age. And I am not against that. I am only against the confusion around where sickness in age comes from, because I don't think that a loss of youth is a reason big enough for us to settle for sickness later in life. Now, so emotional provision, right? Financial provision, financial security leads to emotional security, but emotional security often leads to financial abundance as well. This is why I think of emotional wealth and financial or physical wealth as almost synonyms. Now, it's very important to emphasize that the environment is super important in terms of wealth, because we so often, and I mean so often, become exactly like our environment. For example, to go to one extreme, one berry or one piece of fruit can start to like go rotten with time, and provided that some other fruit surrounds it, those fruits will also become like the one that is or has taken a negative direction. So it is only because of this that I'm very confident in saying how toxic your environment is or what it is lacking will sooner or later try to get to you. And unless you're strong with boundaries and values, you can stick to your values and standards with reason, and masculine protection and containment, you will become just like your environment. But this level of protection takes a lot of energy, as in said by Reality Transurfing's author, which is a book. Reality Transurfing is a book. Protection is a lot of energy. So ideally, you do want to put yourself in the ideal environment where wealth is accepted and not frowned upon, called the devil. In the scripture, in the Bible, in scripture, it is written not that money is the devil. Rather, the saying goes literally, word by word, money is the root of many types of evil. So it is not at all directly, on the same level of evil as we think. Something dark can also carry a lot of potential within it. And once light is shown upon it, it becomes perceptible and powerful for the first time. Demons are nothing more or less than unmet needs. Darkness, some argue, is a collection of all colors. Some argue it is a complete void of all light. I would argue it might be both because of its potential. Now, when you are emotionally secure and you are in an environment that is insecure, you can only use your financial, physical wealth to leave that environment. Using physical means. If you do not have those, this is where the differentiation between emotion and finance comes in the picture. If you do not have financial stability, it is only because of your environment that you may suffer the consequences. But, if you are one single alien on one planet and you have no one around you to influence you, often we tend to live like this, a lot of us, in individualism, unfortunately, but we're not quite like this. We're never alone. But assuming we are just one, island to ourselves, it would only be then that our emotions would be our literal wealth in our bank account and, in our wallets. But wallets, yeah. But because this is not the case, we do need to earn trust in people. We do need to earn labor rewards. Like, we do need to achieve something, even women, because this universe, this physical dimension, most specifically, operates based on negativity. The negativity is a given, and in it you have to earn trust to achieve any positive result. It has been said by, again, the same billionaire that I have been talking about since the beginning of this video, that if you do not put in the labor, the work, anything can feel or appear to be a scam. So life can look like an illusion to you. You can leave this earth. You can literally do that. If you don't put in the labor, if you don't put in the work, it will feel authentic to you to do it. But, if you are an expert in a field, or if you put something on a table, if you put the table together, even, you will be recognized. There is no such thing as a secret in this reality. There is no such thing as a secret in this world. You cannot hide anything for so long that even God does not notice it and react or respond to it to, make you feel something about it. So here, where time matters, good things take time. And one of those things is having billionaires slide into your DMs. Because when you let broke keys slide into your body, there is nothing worse. I'm telling you, there is nothing ever that can get worse.